Well, hello, that's me again. It is 14th of July, Thursday, I guess. And I'm not going to be talking about operations and mathematics today, so I will start with very interesting kind of news. And I think so it has to be the subject of the study by psychiatrists and people who also deal with the collapses of civilization and complete demoralization of the societies. And I'm talking about United Kingdom. 2 days ago, as you can see yourself, of all people, which is really surprising actually, BBC made its own intelligence, so to speak, or due diligence, if you wish, and it uncovered the fact that SAS unit repeatedly killed Afghan detainees, and fact is, they killed 54 people just for the heck of it, who were absolutely in no way connected to Mujahideen, and so they just killed civilians. Not only they killed them, they actually had their methods. I am sure that there's a proud tradition in Great Britain of torture, and they tortured it. So, the most fantastical thing, if you wish, absolutely incomprehensible, happened that instead of the public outrage, British public actually started accusing BBC of disclosing these facts and actually accusing them of endangering lives of those proud military who did who knows well in Afghanistan. And generally speaking, one has to ask the question why UK has to have such a joke of an armed forces. But obviously, there are other things and traces of those proud SAS, Special Air Service, those wonderful, great, Spetsnaz of Her Majesty the Queen, which also have been present in Ukraine since actually earlier than 2014. And guess what? As Russian press reports and media report, and actually the names of those people are known who did this, they were instrumental and still are, because many of them are still in the territory of Ukraine where they face the real war. But guess what? They taught Ukrainian army, VSU and Nazi units how to kill and torture POWs. So, in this case, I wonder what will be the reaction of proud Britons if they will be told that, these are the guys who actually deal not mostly with fighting the real enemy, because they will not really sustain the real war for all their training, quote-unquote, because they never really encountered serious counterforce in terms of, let's say, Russian VDV Spetsnaz or real Spetsnaz GRU and people of this nature, but they surely are good at killing civilians, and this proud moment of torturing POWs, in fact, is they pride themselves on having special techniques on how to torture and then kill POWs. Wow! And guess what? I'm pretty sure, as a reaction of the British public on the BBC, justifiable and actual journalist job, doing the journalist job of investigating what basically amounts to crime against humanity and war crime, the reaction is not optimistic for anybody who observes United Kingdom from the outside. So if the British society is so demoralized or amoral that it really is not happy with the fact that their proud military people are committing war crimes and crimes against humanity, then there is something inherently wrong with this society. But let me put it this way. After observing behavior of the British elites, be them now retired, so to speak, Bodger, or complete bimbo Liz Truss, or Ben Wallace, who obviously is a shame and actually basically exhibit A of the degeneracy of the United Kingdom armed forces, there is no surprise really. I mean, if you look at the political elite of the Great Britain, In some sense, it's even worse than American political elite. And not by much, but still it's worse. I mean, it's just basically one degenerate after another. And they are across all political spectrum. Those people are absolutely useless for any kind of the work of governing. Obviously, Bojo got burned and kicked out of the position, basically because he was busy with promoting himself and his failing policies in Ukraine primarily, and obviously pretending that United Kingdom really means much. No, it doesn't. It's a second-tier country with a population, a dwindling population of 60 million people. Much of this population in the United Kingdom are minorities who do not want to integrate, and they eventually basically erase their actual British culture, which used to be, you know, just the point of admiration for many people and produce some real great culture, including art. No, it's not there anymore. And when you look at it, and you look at especially at British economy, let alone those toy armed forces, with British army capable to produce only one fully capable, combat capable brigade, you have to ask the question, how far the road goes? What is it now in Great Britain? It's not producing Beatles and Rolling Stones anymore. There is no Queen. There's nothing. And when you look at basically the fact of the mass, you know, present things of this nature as children's rape, and basically the corruption in the police, and the suicidal cultural policies, and, you know, basically importing of all kinds of refugees, which actually Britain helps to create, you have to basically come to the conclusion that it's pretty much done for UK. And this recent situation with the Special Air Service and how they torture and kill people is a great demonstration of the degeneracy of the British society. And you know what? I am stunned by the fact that reaction was actually accusing BBC of doing its job. Because even in the United States today, when you have the, and there was similar kind of situation with the CIA operatives and special forces of the United States, and even regular forces such as the Air Force, or bombing all those wedding parties and killing innocent people. Once they were, those facts have been made public, actually, for the most part, American society reacted with the outrage that somebody kills innocent people. In United Kingdom, evidently, this is not the case at all. They just want to protect their boys, who are good only at torturing and killing people, and maybe providing some targeting locally, tactically, for some a target of the LDNR militia, or maybe a Russian target. So that's absolutely stunning development for me, and not that I had much respect for the British body politic for the last many years, but this is just absolutely, you know, takes the price of being of complete decomposition of the society as such. So, but again, the society which produces Liz Truss or Bojo and considers them the national leaders, well, I'm sorry, guys. This is like, doesn't go anywhere from here. It's a dead end, complete. So, this is the thing. Now, the other thing which needs to be mentioned now, obviously, is this. And that actually made a huge splash, because obviously, not just one of the sources, and this sources is known, it is the lady who is in charge of the BRICS International Forum. He, not leaked, he actually, Purnima Anand, she stated it clear, but the other sources also corroborated this, is the fact that if Iran and Argentina joining BRICS wasn't enough, obviously the Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt preparing applications for joining BRICS is a shocker. And I want to stress here that I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not surprised actually. I wrote about it for a number of years now, And after basically Russian special forces of Vladimir Putin saved Erdogan's life during the attempt of the coup of 2016, it became very clear that Turkey was actually a very good fit for BRICS for a number of reasons. But obviously Saudi Arabia and Egypt goes as Saudi Arabia goes. That is a whole other new game. And we need to understand that Joe Biden should be already in Saudi Arabia, obviously, trying to convince Saudis to produce more oil. Well, good luck with that. But the point is, if we, of course, remove cultural considerations of Wahhabism and fundamental Islam, which rules in Saudi Arabia, and there are many things which are absolutely not acceptable from the point of view of anybody, but truth is, Saudi Arabia is the country. They have their own ways of going about anything, and we can say whatever we want about Prince Salman, but the point is that permanent thing, the constant of the Saudi Arabia politics, and believe me, I'm not a specialist in the region, and especially in Saudi Arabia, but it was their overriding, overwhelming fear, if not partially paranoid, but in some sense it's probably understandable from their point of view, it was the fear of Iran. And as I wrote yesterday in my blog, and I will continue to stress it all the time, Joe Biden will have to provide all those guarantees to Saudi Arabia in terms of the, paranoidal, Saudi attachment to its national security issues and, the stability of their regime. But the problem is, obviously, that as I mention all the time, and this thing I know for sure, I experienced it myself, and I know very many people, including those who actually much higher than me in the food chain, who would confirm my point that in the Middle East, or primarily in the Islamic societies, but especially in Arab world, the issue of decisiveness, of resolve, and power, especially when you demonstrate your power, is very important. It's one of those things which really attracts people there. And what we have to understand here, that if you would be talking about the United States of circa 2008, and Obama's administration, all those, just trying to present those security guarantees for Saudi Arabia, that would have been another thing, but of course already in Obama they saw actually the guy who was actually below them in terms of the power projection, because Obama indeed couldn't project power. He talked much, but he was a very mediocre person as a POTUS, and so they already saw it. They saw the writing on the wall, but of course after that, once you get this, bloviating and, hot air balloon Trump, and especially after Iran responded, and the way Iran responded to the assassination of General Soleimani by attacking American bases in the Middle East, retaliating, and United States did nothing, because it couldn't actually, because the United States is afraid like hell, the actual war with Iran. So many in Saudi Arabia concluded what they needed to conclude, not to mention the fact, obviously, that despite fighting Soviet Union in Afghanistan and supporting all those mujahideens, by far not all of them. There was Iran involvement, even China was involved in anti-Soviet activity in Afghanistan in 1979, 1989, but Saudis saw what Russia did in, for example, in Georgia in 2008. Saudis saw what Russia did in Syria, including beating their also sons of bitches, but obviously Qatari primarily, which ISIS had their bases in Qatar and financed by Qatar. So, and then of course, Saudis observe now what Russians do in special military operations in Ukraine, being totally outnumbered but achieving one success after another, and they see how Russian weapons work. So in this particular case, what are you gonna do? Russia threw the gauntlet. Russia already openly challenged not only the United States, Russia challenged the whole goddamn combined West, and Saudis can see how the Europe is crumbling, the United States is crumbling, It's so obvious, and people who were saying that, oh no, we're finally in the recession. No, the United States was in recession a long time before that. So we have been in recession for at least a year now, if not more. As Michael Hudson, one of the most brilliant economic minds of our time, states, and I agree with him, United States have been in the recession starting from 2008. It's just the different phases of this recession. But the fact that American economy is shrinking, it's not surprise, it's expected, and deindustrialization continues. Saudis also see that. And guess what? Once they saw also how Mr. Putin saved Mr. Erdogan in 2016, Prince Salman certainly have his own ideas about where Saudi Arabia will feel more comfortable, especially against the background of definite, very serious economic and military rapprochement between Russia and Iran, and Saudis are afraid of Iran like hell. They're just terrified of it. And Russia is the only country which can settle these differences and which can not unify to address those contradictions and essentially make sure that Saudi Arabia continues to do what it does, spending money on some toys and, trying to develop their country the best they can. Good luck with that, but I mean, hey, they try, so who is against that? Maybe they will even, liberalize relatively at some point of time. I know that recently they allowed women to finally drive. Before that, it was a complete no-no. So there you go. Here's your, win for the feminists. So that's what it is. And I think so Saudis, especially with their resources in oil, obviously, and energy, and actually they produce a lot of aluminum, if you didn't know. They are joining BRICS. It's kind of, gets the more weight to this organization. And again, I want to address this issue also. When you hear and see those people from all kinds of the American or European economic organizations, which are primarily fraud, most of them are fraud, and those people do not understand the real economy, when they begin to count that, oh yeah, BRICS is like, 40% of population, it is 30% of GDP, so first, throw away those GDP numbers, because when you begin to calculate real economy and what it is, China alone, by the sheer size of its economy, dwarfs European Union and dwarfs the United States. As I already stated, China alone produces 12 times more steel than the United States. It produces 3.5 times more cars than the United States. Now you add here the huge, smaller than Chinese, but huge Indian economy. And then add here the huge Russian economy, which produces as much steel as the United States and produces a huge number, a huge volume of energy and other things, let alone we are talking about military-industrial complex. And suddenly just China, India, and Russia constitute a gigantic chunk of world economy. And now we're going to be adding here actually this massive energy supply from Saudi Arabia, and then you will add here a significant economy, granted which is going through some very tough times in Turkey. So yeah, we're looking at probably half world economy, and in this particular case, we need to really see in depth this correlation, because it might be even already dramatically in favor or more than half of economy of the world once you get together all those Eurasian powers, and especially the emerging Eurasian market, which will have the synergy effect, because it produces more and kind of gets the effect larger than the sum of the constituent parts. Obviously, with Russia being responsible and taking care of the defense necessities of this realm. So that terrifies the United States, and Joe Biden will be trying to convince as many of those fantastical thinking U.S. journalists write nowadays that to break Russian-Saudi alliance. Where did they find Russian-Saudi alliance? I don't know. It's just a complete fantasy. But there's no doubt about that. OPEC Plus is that definitely contains Russia and Saudi Arabia. And Russians and Saudis, they communicate very actively on the matters of oil and other energy resources. So it's only normal. So, but it's not an alliance. It's just Russia and Saudi Arabia are trying to build a constructive, cooperative, economically relations. That's the whole philosophy of Russia. Let everybody kind of benefit from whatever Russia does. So there you go. Simple as that. So, and in the related news also, we need to remember today that Russia successfully, as Russian Ministry of Defense reported, the more than 1,000 of VSU and Nazi people and volunteers have been annihilated during the strike at the one of the officer club in Vinnytsia. So the basically annihilation and demilitarization of Ukraine continues unabated and fairly successful, and that's what actually British government better tell those wonderfully heroic SAS guys, you know, Special Air Service guys. I'm pretty sure many of them already understood that real war is a little bit different than, you know, just killing innocent Afghans, you know, or innocent Syrians. That's what they're good at, really, setting up provocations, you know, and false flag and things of this nature. So yeah, if they want to, you know, have them decapitated completely, they can send them to Ukraine and see what happens with them, you know, because obviously I'm not sure what they study in Sandhurst nowadays. Evidently nothing militarily related, but it is what it is. What can I say? So this is what I wanted to talk to you about today, and this was important. I needed to stress this fact because it is absolutely atrocious. But in terms of BRICS news, which are really funny and very interesting, and we'll see where it all goes. The next BRICS summit should be held next year. Then we'll see how applications of Saudi, Turkey, and Egypt will look like, but it is what it is. So I want again to thank my wonderful patrons and encourage others who can afford it to help me, you know, financially by supporting me on Patreon. And of course, those who like what I do, they can certainly subscribe to my channel. And I believe on Saturday, but maybe I'm running my, you know, a little bit too fast and too early, but I think so. We have a meeting between me, Gonzalo Lira, Larry, and Alexander Mercouris of Durand, I think. So I'm just follow what those people who follow Gonzalo Lira, please follow his whatever media outlet he is using. So he should post, I believe, some kind of announcement, but for now, tentatively, that's what should happen on Saturday. So that's it for today, guys, and have a nice rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.